And welcome back to The Other Side. We're here with our three wise men discussing the important issues of the day. Mr. Scott Pelto in the middle, Mr. Rob McMullen on the left, and right here by my side, Mr. Graham Haycroft from Red Unions. Gentlemen, we were talking about the COVID report. The economy effects were not discussed at length in this report, I might add. They did mention that there should be an economic toolkit put in place for any future. Let's have a look at this section of the report, shall we? The economic toolkit should be developed by Treasury and the Reserve Bank of Australia in consultation with the relevant departments and territories, blah, blah, blah. Second point, include measures that can be tailored to respond to different forms of economic crisis, including a public health emergency with an appropriate gender lens applied. How did gender get into this?
I don't even know what that means, Damien. In every text and study I've ever done on economics, it's not gender differentiated.
No.
Ever.
No. Rob, do you have any suspicions about this?
My suspicion would be that they're taking it as self-evident that one gender is eternally oppressed.
Right.
And that a good moral government needs to address that oppression.
In this report written by three senior women. Not a man in sight on this report.
I think that they would probably think it's just self-evident at this point that they are oppressed. What
would be the older gentleman's view on this, the boomer generation? God forbid you should have an opinion.
Oh, God save us. I don't really. What can you say about this? You have two reports, the penis report and you have the vagina report. That's what you do. That's how you do it.
He's done it again. He's done it again. Thank you for putting it in those terms. Actually, there are probably 67 different versions of that as well, right? It wouldn't just be the two.
I'm a bigger though, I only recognise two.
P&J reports.
Indeed.
P&B reports.
All right, moving on. Our second subject for today, I just want to touch on Donald Trump, the election, this cabinet that he's put together that's looking stronger and stronger by the minute. He's not mucking around, right? They're going in hard. They're going in with a totally different approach to what they did in 2016. The left are absolutely freaking out, as you would expect, but they don't seem to care because the left are going to freak out anyway. So they're just going ahead and doing it. How do you think it's going to go for them, Graham? Is the pushback going to be too hard for them to get stuff done, or will it work?
Well, of course, they're getting rid of education.
Yes?
Yes, and probably that means the execution of teachers. And what else could it possibly mean when you say we're going to get rid of the education department?
It couldn't just be that we're getting rid of the federal bureaucracy and we're going to have the states run education like it actually does mean. It has to be something far worse. We should be doing that here in Australia, right? We have a federal education department that's redundant, that we don't need, that just doubles up.
Well, the Constitution says that the Fed should have nothing to do with it.
Our Constitution says that.
Our Constitution says that the education is a responsibility of the states. So we should do exactly the same, which would mean the federal government would just give the money to the states, and the states then, what they should do is allocate the money out basically to parents and students in the form of vouchers. Medicare is a voucher system, right? So the parent then decides which school, and what happens is you eliminate the ratio of bureaucrats, which is totally out of control. Right? For every bureaucrat, there's 2.5 teachers. There should be, I used to be a school teacher 50, 60 years ago. It's just, bureaucrats outside of the school can only have a harmful influence. They can't have a good influence.
Now, you run and founded the Red Union for Teachers, which is the Teachers Professional Association of Australia.
Yeah.
And you have a pretty high membership, particularly in Queensland.
Well,
and it's growing, right? So there is an alternative for teachers that can, if they want to support this approach to education. You do believe, though, this will be better, much better for teachers because, as you say, at the moment, your research shows that we've got one bureaucrat for every 2 teachers.
Yeah, and you don't need them, so you just get rid of them. And you get rid of them by the mechanism of making the schools autonomous, and you fund the students. So, and the school then employs whatever administrators they need. They don't need very many at all. And what happens is you free up whatever the teacher budget is for salaries right across Queensland. You effectively make that available once more over. So you double the available pool. Now, it's not real hard to say, okay, teachers, you guys get 25% more, which I think is probably where they should
It'd be an instant pay rise for all teachers, but also you'd be setting up like a market, right, for education, market for schools, where the schools have to compete. The good teachers would go to would be recognised. They'd be paid more. There'd be a competition for them. The bad teachers would be filtered out. It's called the free market. It's called liberalism. It does work.
Yeah.
It would be a good system to go to vouchers.
Yeah, but we have to get the parents on side. There's absolutely no political support for it at this stage because it's all too hard, But once you involve, what we're doing, I think, is really good. I'm biased. You reward the teachers who support it. Right? The president and everyone else is sort of talking about this stuff and say, well, how's the money going to work? What are you going to do with teachers? Well, forget about them. No, we're a teacher union. No, the teachers come first, thank you, in this situation. They get 25% more. They can piss off the bureaucracy by virtue of the schools themselves determining what they need. And
Run by parent, having parent boards and things like that, and educator boards.
Well, the parents would be, I think the best way to do it, but it's not the only way, is that you have the boards, the only people who can vote on the board or elect the board are parents of kids at the school.
Yeah.
The kid goes.
So this would solve a whole lot of other problems about religious education and how you could choose to send your kid to a school or not if it was religious or not.
Yeah.
This is the free market in action, Scott. As a parent, is it something you would support? To go to a voucher system, to go to a free market sort of environment where schools compete for excellence, we're putting excellence back on the table?
Look, I think the short answer to that is yes, Damien, and I say that. I mean, like anybody, you'd want more specific detail, but the current system does not work and we need a change. Simple as that. And I think what you're seeing in America is a recognition, by the population that bureaucracy is officially out of control.
Yeah.
And the response to that is to bring it back into control. So when I say out of control, in two ways, the bureaucracy and public servants are named as such because their function is to serve the public,
Yes.
not to control the public or rule the public. And the response for any bureaucracy is to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like gravity. It's a natural thing that would occur. And so as a result of it getting bigger and bigger, which is empirically, obvious over the years, eventually it will send a country bankrupt. They will not be able to pay for themselves. And this is why they've drawn the line in America the way they have. And again, the solution is not to ask the bureaucrats to fix themselves.
No, but they will fight, right, Rob? They will push back. And we're seeing this screeching, screaming now going on. And you'll get it right through the media, the mainstream media, because they're all under threat now. Will Trump, do you think, triumph in the end? Will he be able to get all this change through that he wants?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I mean, he's coming out strong. It's only just happened, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I think he's coming out really strong. I think, once again, from a natural law perspective, the natural law is that the best for human flourishing is to find cooperation with truth and reciprocity. So if you've got a government bureaucracy telling you what to do, you're not allowing people to use truth and reciprocity to cooperate. So the more that he's sending the power distance back down to the states, back down to the people, so that you can have a market between states, a market between different ways people want to live, so they can all self-sort and figure out things themselves, more truth and reciprocity. And so his instincts are very much, American like that. I mean, that is the big part of the American experiment is, market between states and markets between how people want to live, how they want to run their lives. And a lot of it's, people telling the truth as well. That's a big part of it. So it seems like that's the direction. I think that we're going to have the opportunity, I really hope, that this all gets implemented and over the next couple of years we get to have the opportunity to see what a reassertion of natural law looks like for the world. Because I mean, that is the roots of the American Constitution and common law and all that sort of British common law, American Constitution, etc. That's the arc. And I really hope that our bureaucrats and politicians and people in the institutions here in Australia, if we do get these great benefits that I expect from a reassertion of cooperation, that I hope they're looking and they're listening and they're taking note, because you know, I think that what we can predict is going to have flow-on effects for the wealth of everybody.
We've got a situation in Australia where our Liberal Party has moved very left.
Yeah.
And maybe with what's happened in America, do you think we might see a correction, Graham? Is there any hope?
Yes. But compare the Queensland recent election, won by the LNP, basically on the promise, I think unnecessary, that they would not sack any public servants. So talk about starting government with both hands tied behind your back.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult. And what Trump's doing is the exact opposite. And I don't think we've seen a politician anything like Trump.
This is going to, because he's not a
Because he's
politician,
not a
right?
politician.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's free to do what needs to be done.
Personality.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But they took down Campbell Newman, right, when he tried to be strong with the bureaucracy in Queensland. It wasn't even that radical what he tried to do. It was very, very gentle, actually. They just blew it up into something it
Good as
wasn't.
he is, he's not Donald Trump.
He handed the job to the wrong
love him
people.
as we do, but yeah, no, not Donald Trump, I guess. But yeah, Trump certainly not pulling any punches. He's going in hard, and he's going to or at least have a crack at it. So we'll see what
He's
the
got
reaction.
the two best people to do it. I mean, Musk and that Vivek Ramaswamy. I watched the podcast and he explained. He actually understands how bureaucracies and how institutions work.
Yeah.
One of the problems with the LNP, they have very few people. I know them all, and I'm one of them who actually understand institutions.
Yeah.
Right? The Labor Party's probably got 100, 150, 200 people who know more about them than I do, but they're all on the other side. There's almost no one in the LNP who understands how institutional power works.
Right.
It's very, very hard to start to reform and make government more efficient if you have no idea how it works.
Yeah.
That's the problem they face. But if someone's doing it overseas, they can copy.
Well, we follow America. If I had to make a prediction, and my hope is that by bringing the government bodies back to their fundamental purpose, I predict we're going to see an explosion in prosperity in America.
And that will trigger a response here.
That's my hope. That will then trigger, a similar approach in the remainder of the Western democratic world.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, the Western democratic world looks to America first.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, well, we're dependent upon them to a large
I'm
extent.
nominating Scott to head Australia's Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes, I think the two of you. I think you really are Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm not sure who's who, but it's looking good.
Yeah. The mechanisms.
I don't have his wealth, just his social awkwardness, to be honest. So I feel a bit ripped off.
The mechanism is very important. The trouble is with most of the bureaucrats have not been appointed for any particular reason because it's not done on merit. So what do you do there? Shit, what am I supposed to do? So they look for things to do. And what they do is regulate. We need to pass some laws to do this and to do that. So you've got thousands and tens of thousands of laws, most of which are useless. They're just there to provide a job for the bureaucrats.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, happy festive season, happy New Year. Let's come back in 2025, get you guys back on again to keep us informed and analysing the news with us. Great to see you all.
Can you do us a favour?
Yes.
In 2025, instead of introducing us as the three wise men, introduce us as the three stooges.
Yes, actually, far more appropriate.
I'll even get a costume.
Okay, noted. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob McMullen's getting a costume. I know who you are.
Curly!
Okay, we'll see you guys next year. Take care.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. If you have a Netflix or other streaming media account from a global company and you're on holidays and log in from another country, you may have noticed that shows that are available in those other countries are different. That's because different media companies have different deals with different streaming services in different countries. Imagine being able to log into Netflix, though, as if you were in America, or maybe a country that speaks a language other than English that you speak, to access more shows, but you can do it all without leaving your couch here in Australia. Well, there is a way. Private Internet Access VPN is a virtual private network. You download their app onto your phone, your TV, your computer, whatever you use, and it'll route your data through a different server location. Not only can you access more content, but a VPN keeps you safe and secure and your family safe so that you can't be tracked by prying eyes of big government and big corporations. And it will not massively slow down your internet speeds or make it harder to use your devices like some other VPNs do. Private Internet Access, PIA VPN. It's quick and easy to install, and once you've downloaded it, that is pretty much it. And the great news is if you sign up for PIA VPN, you are also helping the other side heaps and getting great value for money as well. And you can sign up using our special Other Side code for less than $3 a month. That's a whopping 83% off the normal price, and you'll get the first 4 months free. Just go to piavpn.com/otherside right now to get our special deal. That's piavpn.com/otherside. If you like that clip, there's more where that came from in our full show, The Other Side. You can watch it right here, the latest episode. And please subscribe to our channel by pressing the subscribe button right here or down here. And remember to click that notification bell too. It all helps. Join us and become part of The Other Side.